Okay. All right. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? And then I will try to replicate that amazing intro that I just did. Let us know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's good. Did you hear me before?
I heard you before.
So I guess that doesn't count. Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you,
It
Joyce.
it should count.
All right.
All right, you
Woohoo!
want to redo
Okay.
your amazing
I
intro?
know I did this great job. I like improvised. It worked out so well. I'm gonna try again.
You're gonna be better to it.
All right. Welcome to the NuSpecies Live. I am Jillian.
And I'm Aston, of course.
For those of you who are new to NuSpecies, I want to welcome you here to the Q&A today and just say that NuSpecies is a natural health company and an integrative consulting practice. We have been working with clients since as early as 2007, but actually earlier. This July made our 18th birthday as a company. And in that time, Aston has not only invented our first formula, but has invented many more since. All are designed to be very powerful, plant based, raw, liquid, herbal formulas and supplements that are designed to help your body be as resilient as possible against some of the toughest of health challenges. In all of this time in working with you with our formulas, we have gained a lot of anecdotal stories, evidence about what you've been going through, what has worked for you. We have reviewed thousands of your labs and radiology reports and medical histories. And with all of that, we have been empowered to what we think is provide really useful consulting regarding when you get stuck between the world of having to take medicine and having to work with medical care, but also really wanting to live naturally and use natural medicine too. We help you leverage the best of both of those worlds. And that's why we do this Q&A every Saturday at 10 a.m. because what is a good health choice for you may not be for someone else. And we want to get you the answers to your questions that will help you continue along your own unique health journey. So thank you so much for being here today. I'm so glad that you can hear us. We'll say hello to Hedley and Maxine and DeBorn. Hi, Olivia. Good morning, Joyce and Trevor and Maxine and Daisy. Thank you all for being here. Feel free to say hi at any time and also post any questions or comments that you have into the chat. Otherwise, we will jump right into our first pre-submitted question. And then if you think of anything you want to talk about, the floor is yours. That's what we are here for. All right, so Aston, our first pre-submitted question. Well, the only one we have. It's a little bit long, but it's very important. He builds the whole case here. Hopefully, Derek, you're listening. If not, we'll try to get you this.
Can it go on the screen?
It's really long, so I don't know.
Oh,
we can try.
It's a really great question,
I know.
it covers so much. It covers the medical system. It covers. To me, that question is a very unique question because it covers so many of the natural laws of nature in terms of our bodies, how our bodies work, how our immune system work, how different health conditions entangle and become a big deal for our health and potentially even for longevity. So it's a really, really great question.
Yeah, Derek said he's here, so
okay.
He takes all your compliments. I'm posting, but it's breaking it up into multiple things, so I can't make it
That's okay.
show up on the screen. If I put it here, you're only going to see this much.
That's okay.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to read it.
All right.
Yes, because no one else knows what he's asking. Okay, so here's the question. I would like to know about how bee pollen can help with fall allergies. My son is 12, seems to always experience asthma as the seasons change, or after he has a cold, there is a period of this bronchial sounding irritation resulting in what I would describe as a croup type of cough. He is healthy otherwise and very active. I've never seen him struggle with asthma while active, so I'm a bit confused by the diagnosis. When this cough occurs, we generally give him 5 days of prednisone in combination with another inhaler the asthma doctor prescribed. I'm skeptical of what the doctor is saying because when I asked him about any truth to natural remedies like local honey helping with allergies, he balked at the idea and said there is no evidence. Do you think bee pollen or any other supplement would help this?
Okay. So let's define the condition of allergy, because we're in the middle of it now for the fall, and a lot of people get it during the winter, some in the spring, uh, more rarely in the summer, unless someone just has permanent allergic reactions to everything, like dust mites or carpets, animals, etc., etc. But when it comes to pollen in the air, it's these are particles that are naturally made by plants or trees. They're naturally in the air. They're natural. They're biochemicals. So for some people, because we have certain biochemicals in our bodies, and then which are what we need to support our health, our cells, our genes, our DNA, right? We have all those biochemicals which are natural, and then we get a whole lot more from technologies. And anything that's man-made is technology. Anything at all, even foods in cans, they have these synthetic chemicals that are made in labs. So compound our biochemicals, and then we have more compounds from technology in our bodies, in our cells. And on top of that, now we have all those two foundational issues, right? With the biochemistry being complicated and tangled with chemicals that are made in labs. And then on top of that, we have the pollen now. So the trees in the fall and spring, that's when they produce a lot of these pollen, because they're going through changes. Now you add this third layer, and this person, whether it's fall, spring, or throughout the whole year, they're going to have these. Uh, their bodies are just pounded with all these chemicals, some natural, some synthetic compounds made in labs, and then our immune system kicks in, and our immune system is now completely confused and start producing a massive amount of histamines and other chemicals, trying to overcome, the chemicals that are bothering, our organs, our cells, our genes, our DNA. So once the immune system becomes involved, that's when a lot of people start to produce a lot of mucus, or they have drainage. And I think part of the question was asthma. So a lot of
Right.
people can get asthma if they have all this drainage from their sinus into their lung. Over time, people have developed asthma conditions because of that. In some cases, real bad asthma.
So I'm wondering if I know when I was growing up, if I heard someone had asthma as a diagnosis, I would think it meant like always, like if they run, they can't breathe, they have to, if they get sick, they have a problem. If like anything can cause a problem, and it's just something they always deal with. But in this case, are there times when you can be diagnosed with asthma as like
Hmm.
an acute situation,
Hmm.
not a chronic one?
Asthma can be seasonal
Okay, so that's likely
because,
what Derek's son is experiencing.
right, some of the alveoli in the lung, some of these little pockets that produce a lot of their sockets that help us to digest oxygen, right? They get blocked, they get inflamed, but then our immune system can fix them from time to time. So some people do have seasonal asthma, as they have seasonal allergies, because the bodies are able to regenerate cells using stem cells to regenerate cells and replace the bad cells. And that's how our bodies, by the way, that's how our bodies fix itself. It has to regenerate embryonic cells or stem cells to fix bad cells, dead cells, sick cells. So some people have these seasonal allergies, seasonal asthma, and then you take your child, or you go to the doctor, and they're going to give you steroids. That's what prednisone is. It's a form of steroid. It's an anti-inflammatory. And what they're trying to do sometimes is to depress the immune system from overreacting to these chemicals. That is the only medical treatment for asthma and allergies.
And reducing the inflammation, the
That's all they
resulting
that's all they
inflammation.
can do. So they're not trying to cure it. They're just trying to make, merciful. I usually say medications are merciful. They help us with pain and suffering, but then not necessarily fixing anything. But still, that is still good, that if you can take medication and get some relief from suffering. So I hope I answer the question. So the doctors don't have anything else. The doctors are not tricking us. They don't have anything else. We have doctors, medical doctors who have allergies and they come to us. They have sinus issues, they come to us. They have asthma, they come to us. They have blood pressure, they come to us. They have hormonal issues and they come to us just like anybody else.
Mm.
Because a lot of the disease, there are about 20,000 different diseases we get now worldwide. There's no medication that can fix 99%. It is that bad.
Right. So another thing Derek is talking about is, feeling skeptical of the doctor and the doctor saying there's no evidence for these things. So one thing I will say, Derek, is that if new species waited for studies to back up whatever actions we were going to take, we would never help anybody. So a lot of the help that we have seen happen with thousands and thousands of you over the years is just from our own experience and making really high quality products. Now, the thing is, a lot of times when studies happen, you don't actually know what they're, what kind of quality of the thing that they're doing. So let's say bee pollen. If the bee pollen is in granules, it maybe was processed with heat, which can destroy a lot of the active components in bee pollen that can make it really health beneficial. Whereas our bee pollen is raw, it's been cold processed and preserved with vegetable glycerin. And so a lot of what makes bee pollen so healthful is still present in our product. So where someone may use bee pollen granules or other bee pollen products where the end result maybe doesn't maintain the same level of potency, they could take that and say, yeah, it doesn't work. And if a study is done using that same source of, that same type of bee pollen and it doesn't work, then they're going to say, the study's going to say there's no efficacy. But if they had done the study maybe with new species bee pollen, maybe it would have a different result. So we have seen a lot of benefits. I mean, we've heard all kinds of stories. Like we have a
Mhm.
client who's a state trooper, and as the seasons change in the spring, when all the grass starts growing up and they don't cut it yet, and he has to pull someone over and pull his car over the grass that like gets heated up by the bottom of his vehicle, he says like he can't even see. His eyes puff up, his eyes are tearing, and he could barely do his job at that time of year. And then after taking our bee pollen, and I'm not sure, I think it was only the bee pollen he took at the time, he said he never had those allergies again. So we have seen proof that it works. Now, if there are other underlying causes or things agitating your son's
Well,
body,
the immune system,
mhm,
that has to be fixed as well.
yeah,
So yes, what our bee pollen does is exactly what Jillian just said. So this is how the question is, how the bee pollen could work, right? For someone, it could work because you could Google it. The bee pollen is a superfood. What that means is that it has over 100 different minerals in it. That's how powerful it is. Now, that's just one piece of it. The second piece of it is that the bee pollen now will trigger the liver and the pancreas, our two digestive organs, to create the enzymes. The only way you're going to get rid of the inflammation from allergy or asthma or any disease at all, the liver and the pancreas, they have to produce the enzyme to flush the body out. Enzymes are rebuilders, but they're also cleansers. So we give our clients the bee pollen. It's just one formula out of several. The bee pollen alone, I don't believe it's going to fix an allergic reaction, especially where the body is piling up with histamines being made by or created by the immune system. So the immune system has to be rebuilt, and that's what the doctors are doing. They suppress the immune system to get it to produce less histamines, but your body can do it. So what we do is that you need the bee pollen, you need the vitamin D, and you probably need an LNU or anti-inflammatory to cover the basis of the issue. So the bee pollen assists the liver and the pancreas to produce the enzymes that are needed, absolutely necessary to get the body to purify itself, to cleanse itself of the inflammation of the chemicals. The liver, as you all know, is the one of the only true powerful cleansers that God has given us is the liver. So everything has to go through the liver. The body's going to fix something, it has to go through the liver. The body's going to purge something, it has to go through the liver. Our liver is life. That's why they call it liver. It's life. Can't live without it. If it's not functioning well, all our organs are going to fall apart.
okay. So Derek said he ordered the bee pollen and LNU one, and they both just arrived yesterday.
Okay.
How should his son use it?
How old he
He's
is?
12.
Okay, so depending how bad the allergic reactions are, he can take a tablespoon. He's old enough, he's 6 years and over. He can take a tablespoon of the LNU one. He can take it twice a day, morning and evening. Again, depends on how bad it is. And then the bee pollen, do a full dropper morning and night. And he may need to do even more. So depending on the severity of any issue we have, when you take new species, you may need to take a higher dosage because you're not just maintaining or supporting the body, you're getting the body to rebuild itself from something that's chronic. So
All
it all
right.
depends on how bad it is.
So let's just repeat one more time. For the Alni one, he will take
A
a
tablespoon,
tablespoon, which is like half of the measuring cup that we provide, Derek. And then the bee pollen,
one full dropper.
one full dropper. I don't know if did you get the bee pollen 9 because it is 30% off. So that's a until it's sold out. So we're trying to switch out the bottle it comes in. So it's great to take advantage of that, especially if you have to take higher doses. So a full dropper. So to get a full dropper, you're going to want to double pump the dropper lid. So if you just if you when you take it out of the bottle, if there's anything in it and you squeeze it out to empty it and then you put it back in and you just pump once, the tube's going to fill about halfway, which is a normal dose that would make the bottle last for 30 days. But in these kinds of situations you need to take more. So you're going to double pump and you'll see the tube fills all the way. And then that's the dose that Aston is saying for your son to take
Right. So morning and evening, AM and PM.
in the morning and night. And same
Yeah.
thing for El New, tablespoon morning and night.
Yeah, but it depends on how chronic the situation is. If it's really bad, keeping it up at night, then maybe twice a day until he gets better. Once he gets better and functioning more normally, you can go to once a day. You can even go to a teaspoon eventually once he gets better.
Right. And at a teaspoon, even the 8-ounce El New one, Derek, will last over a month. So that can really stretch the budget there. And the goal is, which is why our formulas are comprehensive. We don't really like to isolate individual nutrients or herbs, is because the goal is to get your son's body, his immune system, to be functioning more normally. Therefore, you shouldn't need to keep going into these crisis situations where you'll find that he hopefully will start reacting less and less to the point where you're just on like a maintenance dose and he doesn't have these problems. Okay, great. He did get the one on sale. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Derek. And of course, you can follow up along the way, and we're here for you. Yeah, I hope he does well. And then if anything persists, we can start to dig in a little bit more into his lifestyle, what he's eating. There are a lot of inflammatory foods that could be making his immune system more distracted and distraught, like dairy is very inflammatory. So typically when someone gets a lot of colds or sick all the time or has a lot of inflammation related symptoms, you want to start to cut down on foods that will be inflammatory, like cow's milk or meat or processed foods that have a lot of additives and chemicals. So, you can continue to optimize. You have a lot of options, and we can continue to help you with that along the way
Optimize meaning that we have other formulas that,
as well.
depending on how chronic the situation is, we always have more potent formulas. We usually recommend the most basic, and I think that's what we've done in this case. So we always have more potent formulas that work faster. We also have the anti-inflammatory that he may need or may not need. And everything I say, as I've always said, goes for all of you who are watching, listening. It goes for all of you because the same process of helping the body to fix itself, heal itself, repair itself, rebuild itself, it applies to everyone, even if you're maintaining, you're just maintaining your health, maintaining your genes, your DNA, your cells, your organs. It's the same process. It's the same fundamental process for everyone.
All right, excellent. So thank you so much for that. And Derek, again, don't be too hard on your doctor. Doctors aren't trained on this kind of stuff, and they're trained for medicine, which is exactly what they are hopefully safely prescribing to your child. And it's hard you're kind of putting yourself in a frustrating situation if you were going to a medical doctor and hoping for a non-medical solution. You will find medical doctors who are open to that and who put themselves out there in that way, but in most cases they're probably not spending time studying those sorts of remedies or solutions because it's just not what they became doctors to do. And if they do know it, they may not want to be putting themselves in in a liable situation where they've recommended something that they actually, it's just not in their wheelhouse to do and it can cause harm. But ultimately, their goal is to do no harm. So if the treatment is more harmful than the actual condition itself, they are not going to prescribe it. So you could follow that same mindset for your son, which is, well, if I want to try some local honey, that's not going to harm your son. So why not try it, right? You don't need a study to say that it works or your doctor to say that it will work. If you get local honey and you add it to his diet and he gets better too, then great, right? And if he doesn't, then you did no harm. So,
Mhm.
all right. I'm going to just scroll back and make sure I didn't miss any questions or comments from anyone. Thank you all for being such good listeners, but now it's your turn to pop into the chat if you'd like to.
If not, we will go off on our own journey and talk about our journey document, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, until you all have questions, it may help a lot of you to to get some questions too.
great.
Um,
So, in today's email that went out this morning, we did talk about labs and the importance of getting your labs frequently, especially if you're working with new species, so that we can help lower the cost of your spending with new species as you're getting better, and the labs prove that you're getting better, and it helps us do that. But as many of you know, your insurance will only cover so many labs, and your doctor can only justify so many labs to your insurance. So your doctor may not want to run the labs as often as you would like, because what you're doing with us does not correlate with what you're doing with your doctor. So your
right.
doctor's protocol is every 3 months or 6 months or a year, and we're like, "Can you get it in 2 months?" They may say, "Well,
30 days
or 30
sometimes.
days."
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm happy you raised that because it's a good place before we get deep into the lab discussion, if we even get into it, to let everyone know. Some of you probably know, but it's good to look at the rationale of why we're doing this for you. I think that everyone should be doing a blood test report 4 times a year. I think it should happen 4 times a year because it takes a month. We have clients where, and Mary, we saw a few of them over the past couple weeks where they did labs in August and their labs were good. And they do labs again this month. And it's not even the end of September. And their labs have completely changed. The
Oh,
abnormalities just skyrocket, just unbelievably.
wow.
Their white blood cells are too low or too high. The hemoglobin, which is so key, for oxygenation and cardiovascular support. So if someone like that, imagine their lab change from August to September
Mhm.
in a really serious way, it means that their disease conditions have gotten exponentially worse, or they have grown more disease in their bodies and they didn't know.
Right, and they're
And they
waiting
wait for
until
3 to 6
right.
months. I'm telling you all, that's one of the number one reasons people develop diabetes, full blown diabetes, and they would think it came out of nowhere. No, it did not. Not because insurance companies are saying to us, we're not paying enough high premium for us to do labs so frequently. So based on the premium we're paying, that's what they use to help to determine how frequently in any given year we can do a labs. Some people are just allowed to do labs once a year. So a lot of people do need labs frequently. So what we do at New Species, if someone comes to us and they have a high PSA, or they have, their A1C is just off the chart, where it can cause kidney failure, it can cause heart damage, brain damage. So someone whose PSA is very high, it can turn to cancer any moment, any day. They could go back to the doctor and it goes from benign to cancerous. So what we're saying to you all, some of you, not all of you, some of you need to do labs every 30 days so we can monitor you to see whether you're getting better or how you're getting better. And if you're really, truly in danger, you're waiting to see your doctor 6 months later or a year later, you could have full blown disease conditions, killing you. And we want to help you identify it quickly so we can work with your doctors. So it's not just for new species you're doing those labs. Those labs will also inform your doctor as to how well you're doing. So some people we do recommend you do labs 30 days because your situation is chronic, pretty serious. And then there are others that are 90 days or so.
Right.
Yep.
I wanted to share my screen and just show you a couple of things, but I want to we can hop back into that where we're going to answer Donna's question and then we'll hop back in. We'll show you where to click and where to go if you need to order your own labs and just pay out of pocket. Most of them can often be very affordable, maybe sometimes just as much as the copay you would pay to go back to your doctor just to get a script to draw labs again. So we want to show you where to go and how to do that. But first, let's hop into Donna's question. Donna asks,
Mhm.
what can I take to get rid of belly fat? And what is the best detox for a beginner?
So belly fat, I think, Donna, we should just sit down and talk about it because the weight loss programs that I have seen out there in the world, and I've looked at many of them, they truly don't help people to lose weight. And some people who come to us, they're frustrated with those programs because they don't believe the programs work fast enough. The truth is, when we have fat tissue anywhere in our bodies are storing energy. Our bodies are storing the foods we're eating. That's what's called energy, the calories. They're being stored. And nobody should be storing fat. So if someone's body is storing fat, it means they're not burning enough energy. So if you want to work with us, we can help you to burn the energy. The way God makes us, those of you who believe in God, the way God makes us is that our bodies should burn fat first. It shouldn't burn anything for energy except fat. When our bodies are not doing that, it means something is wrong. Something is wrong in our cardiovascular system. That's what we can help you to fix. And that is the reality of weight loss. You want to lose weight, you'll have to burn the energy. We can help you to burn the fat, burn the energy. And yes, you're probably going to say, Donna, you work out a lot, and all of you. You work out a lot, you go to the gym, you walk, and you still have the belly fat because the body is still not burning energy. That's not what energy means. Burning energy means that the foods we're eating, we're digesting it properly, we metabolize it properly, our bodies are using it properly. So a lot of us are eating certain foods that our bodies just can't use, and
Mm.
it just go to storing fat.
Mhm.
It's not being digested, not being metabolized, not being used by our bodies. It's being stored as fat cells. Fat cells turn to cancer, diabetes, blood pressure, and all the other cardiovascular diseases. Cardiovascular disease, number one killer of the human species. Way above cancer, way above heart disease, way above all the accidents on the planet.
Mhm.
Cardiovascular disease, that's how devastating it is. So we can help you, all of you.
Mhm.
This goes for all of you. Everything I say is for all of you because we all have fat cells because of we live in this technological age. No one can go without fat cells. It's impossible. But we can reduce it
Right.
by doing a certain number of things.
And then for women over 40, 50, there's also the hormonal component. So most women over that age will complain about just no matter like even when they lose weight, the belly is still there. So there's
Right.
the hormonal
And
concept
that's a
behind
really excellent point because a lot of the ladies who come to me is post pregnancy and the belly is not going away, the fat is not going away. They go to the gym, they exercise, they walk, it's not going away. So this is what's happening with a lot of you ladies. And what I'm saying now for the hormonal is not universal, but it applies to a lot of women, maybe most women who have belly fat post childbirth. We have two sets of hormones. One is called estrogen, the other is called testosterone. All humans have them. Women just have more estrogen by nature of being a woman, men have more testosterone by nature of being a man. But those two hormones, each one, can cause cells to proliferate, to replicate rapidly, to overgrow. And if you have testosterone that's too high or estrogen that's too high, one of those or both of those hormones can cause a lot of these cells to be built up in our bodies. So sometimes these issues are hormonal,
Mhm.
as Jillian just said. It's not just diet alone, it could be hormonal, that's a trigger. So a lot of ladies who come to us, We look at their, look at their labs. We look at the health conditions they have. They have chronic menopause. They have heavy menstrual. They're anemic because of menstrual. They have ovarian cysts. They have fibroids. I'm naming these out, ladies and gentlemen. They have dense breasts because the fat cells are what's forming all these conditions. The fat cells are helping to form these conditions and feed these conditions. Okay. So when it comes to, once our bodies develop a health issue, there's so many things, so many complications behind it. It's never just fibroids. It's never just ovarian cysts. It's never just enlarged prostate, guys. Never. It's never just heart disease. It's never just blood pressure or diabetes. A lot of things in the organ systems are taking place that are failing already for the body to develop a disease condition. A lot of things taking place.
Right. And then Donna, so as far as an answer to your question regarding detox for beginners, new species formulas are all designed to work with your body's natural processes, not for your body or not in spite of your body. So there's nothing at new species that would be for a beginner or someone advanced. Our detox products are all designed to be used on a daily basis. They're not the kinds of detox products that are designed to just be used when you're constipated or for a week or a month. Ours can be used every single day because they are contributing to help your body process optimally. So, for example, your body is always detoxing, it's always trying to push toxins out. Our formulas are just helping it do that more efficiently. And definitely against the onslaught of all the things we're putting into our bodies on a daily basis that make it harder for our bodies to do this work. So, new species detox for the intestines and colon, it comes in a powder and capsules. Both work really well, and it's very bitter, so that's why we have the capsules. They are made from veggie capsules. They dissolve very easily, so you'll have no problem digesting them. But you can take that every single day, and it's very affordable and it's really effective. And you're basically just putting a bunch of fiber into your intestines to help everything move. So for me, I struggle with my diet, and when I want my belly to go down and go down quickly and have my body feel light and good again, I have to be taking new species detox every day, and I have to be eating a lot of fiber, so a lot of vegetables. When you look on the internet for advice about making your belly go down, you're immediately going to see things like low carb and keto and all of these special diets that
Medication.
medications, obviously, that have side effects and cannot be used long term. So, um, don't overlook the power of vegetables. Eat a lot of vegetables. They are basically feeding what the bacteria in your gut need to eat. When the bacteria in your gut, that friendly bacteria that helps us in every aspect of our health, when you feed them fiber, they break down that food and release the nutrients that we actually need to survive. So things like meat and dairy, no fiber, zero fiber. So when you eat those things, you're actually feeding pathogens in your gut, not the healthy bacteria that needs to be abundant in order for us to be healthy. So simple tips is get started with our detox for the intestines and colon, then also start eating a lot of vegetables, and I promise you, you will see your belly come down significantly. And then if there is any additional belly fat your body's holding onto because of hormonal imbalances or other issues like Aston mentioned, then we can work with you on those as well.
Absolutely. So, everything in our body that comes from nature and God or come from God is sacred, everything. And when we violate those laws of nature that put them in our bodies, our organs, our blood, everything is sacred. And we have to use what nature has made to support our bodies. And unfortunately, we live in a technological world that is filled, the air, the food, the water, everything is filled with compounds. Nature doesn't make any compound. They're all man-made, and they bombard our bodies through the water, the foods, and that's another reason why a lot of people have excess fat cells. they're not able to figure out because the doctors don't know and they rely on the doctors to help them. They're not able to figure out what to use in nature, what is God made. They're not able to figure out what to use to help themselves. That's what New Species is. We have figured out a lot of things. Part of Jillian's extraordinary introduction that she didn't get to repeat in the second introduction
I didn't manage it well.
was, was who we are, what we do. We bring to you what you're not able to do for yourselves. We bring to you what your doctors are not able to do for yourselves. All our formulas are completely natural. They're from nature, and we use them to support the body so the body can have a chance to regenerate cells, to rejuvenate itself, whether it's the immune system or sick cells or cancer or blood pressure or diabetes. We don't care. It doesn't matter. If your body is strong enough to regenerate those cells and regenerate the DNA, the genes. Yes, when they're damaged, they can still function. Even though they're dysfunctional, they can still function and help the body support itself. That's what we give you in our formulas to support your body for better life and longer life.
And also the great thing about you just eating a lot of plant foods is that they naturally communicate with your body because these are the foods. Everything that governs your appetite is related to your gut and those friendly bacteria in your gut, what they're craving. Or if you have an overproduction of pathogens, what they're craving, what you start to feel like when you really want to eat sugar or salt or fat, that's those pathogens saying, please keep feeding me. I want to stay alive. Once you get past letting them die off and you eat a lot of fiber and vegetables, your cravings are going to be for vegetables. And the cool thing is because there's that communication between those healthy and friendly gut bacteria and the fibrous foods that you're eating, the plant-based foods. And when I say plants, I mean vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, herbs, spices, things like that, fruit. Because there's a communication, your body knows naturally when it's full and when it's done. So there's no weighing your food, portioning your food, none of that. Calorie counting, because you're in sync with nature and the way our bodies are designed to eat and digest. And that's really helpful. Like if you ever eat pineapple and after you eat it for a while, your mouth starts to get that like tingly discomfort, it's because your body's like, okay, enough of that. Like the natural chemicals in the pineapple have started to irritate your mouth. You know you're done. And it's the same thing when you eat vegetables. Your body naturally knows when it's done. You actually feel satiated and full and good. And there was a while when I was losing a lot of weight just eating a ton of vegetables where I felt like, gosh, I'm still overeating. I'm eating too much. And I was still losing weight because my body needed everything that I was eating. And it was hard to overeat with natural foods. So I will say that that's a benefit, Donna. It's not that complicated to get started, just eating lots of vegetables.
It's hard though. Believe me, I sit here and
It's not complicated. I'm not saying it's not hard,
no,
but it's
no,
not
no, 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 no,
complicated
no,
like
no.
counting and weighing and all that stuff with diets.
I'm making a different point though.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is that I see how I used to be more judgmental of my family until I started New Species and I see how my family is like everybody else in the world, literally, when it comes to their health. We grow these habits. What I meant to say was that we grow these habits of what we love or favorite foods. And I have them too, believe me. I have them and I abuse it too. And it's hard to break away. And even clients who come to us, they have end stage 4 cancer. They have the chronic disease that's killing them, and they can't resist.
Mhm.
They can't resist the alcohol. They can't resist the piece of cake, even though it's the alcohol and the cake and some of the foods they're eating will do nothing for their bodies but make it worse.
Mhm.
It will make their cancer worse. And they know it to some extent.
Mhm.
It will make their blood pressure worse, their diabetes worse. They know it. And I just come to the conclusion that habits are really powerful. to break.
Yeah. I know I talked to, we were consulting with this oncologist for one of our family members who does the chemo in a more special kind of way and promotes plant-based eating. And he was explaining to our family member that eating meat and dairy increases your mortality by 65%. 65%. Therefore, by not eating it, you are significantly improving your chance at healing and or longer life with this disease. And this family member will still eat meat. Not every day, they cut down significantly, but I feel like in my mind, if I were a meat eater, I would look at that meat and all I would think is that's going to kill me. I'm not eating it. But when, like Aston said, we build these emotional connections to the foods, it can be really, really hard. But like I'm saying, and this is gastroenterologist Dr. Will Busowitz talks about this extensively in a couple of books he's written that I've read, that it's the pathogens craving the meat, not you, not your body saying that you need something that the meat or dairy or sugar has. It's the pathogens that feed on it that are telling you, eat it, eat it.
They release an enzyme and tell your body, I need this, and you just do it. We just do it.
Right. And it's hard to resist. But if you don't eat it, they start to die off, which is what they're resisting. They're trying to survive. So once they start dying off, those cravings become less and less and less. But you have to, what's more important is to be eating lots of vegetables to bring in the healthy bacteria that will make you crave them. It could take up to 3 months, so it can take time, but it's a worthwhile fight for the immense health benefits. And the same thing happens with NuSpecies because our formulas are raw and we're using whole foods, we're using herbs and barks and all kinds of things that are broken down into tiny bits, but there's still the fiber is still there. So you're actually feeding your microbiome when you're taking NuSpecies formulas as well.
Just hearing you talking about bacteria. By the way, a couple of clients have said to me, Jillian talks a lot about bacteria.
It's all of
She
life is
talks a
bacteria.
lot about bacteria. So I had each of them Google, and you all can do it now. Google the number of bacterial particles that are in the human body. I want you all to Google it now. And you're going to see billions. Our bodies are the hosts. Each of us is the host of billions of particles of bacteria. And some people have trillions. So the good news is that some bacteria are good bacteria and some bacteria are bad bacteria. When you take NuSpecies, the way I design NuSpecies, the herbs and plants and whole foods and green foods that are in NuSpecies, when you take NuSpecies, if you take it long enough and you have any bad bacteria in your stomach or your small intestine where they mostly live and the large intestine, the colon, your body will use NuSpecies to get rid of the bad bacteria and keep the good ones. If you take NuSpecies long enough. So if you have an infection in your body and the antibiotics are not getting rid of it, I don't know how long you have to take NuSpecies or take our immune system formulas, but if you stay in them long enough, your body will get rid of those bad bacteria and keep the good ones. Without the good bacteria, people, we would not live a week. Our lifespan would be about a week or less if we didn't have all that good bacteria in our bodies, because they also help our immune system to get rid of the bad bacteria. So that's how important they are. So it's really important to have a good, even if you eat meat, I'm not telling anyone not to eat meat and dairy and all that unless they have certain conditions. But even if you eat meat, you have to balance your body with a lot of plant-based foods, especially if they're raw. You have to do that because the minerals that you're going to get from plants are more important than the minerals that you get from meat. And the reason why I don't eat meat is because the animals, in addition to, being somebody who think of, all life forms are important, I don't eat meat because a lot of the animal farms around the world, they use a lot of pharmaceuticals, they use a lot of hormones, they use a lot of things in their meat products. I'm not going to call it in particular meat, but they use a lot of these hormones in their foods. And we just spoke earlier about testosterone and estrogen that cause cells to overgrow. That's what cancer is, by the way. Cancer is simply the overgrowth of bad cells. That's all a cancer is. So to kill cancer, let your body, let your genes, let your DNA, let the cells stop overproducing these bad cells, and the cancer eventually should go away if it's not too late. So cancer is simply the overgrowth of bad cells. That's all that it is. It's not some great mystery out there. Yes, the doctors use chemo and radiation to kill off a lot of the bad cells to give the immune system a chance to regenerate healthy cells, because the immune system does regenerate new cells. It helps the body to regenerate new cells. So know you know what we do if you didn't know what we do. We're giving your sacred body sacred foods so you can live better and longer. If you stay on it long enough, it will help you. Some people get help early. Some people, it takes longer because they have so many complications or their conditions are so chronic. It just takes longer, and it's just part of life. Some things don't happen overnight.
Yeah, and I'll say Cherie says, oh, yes, it's extremely hard because I lack discipline. But I'll tell you, Charisse, and I've learned this too, is that when we think it comes down to discipline or willpower, we're fooling ourselves. What we can actually do is completely bypass the need for willpower or discipline by putting in place strategies that just propel us forward naturally. So, for example, if you are eating lots of vegetables and you're feeding those healthy bacteria that crave the vegetables, and you do that for a few months, you're going to start to desire to eat those things. It is not going to take willpower to do it. So, my sister the other day made a lunch and it had like, I don't know, she sauteed a bunch of vegetables and there was some like whole grains and there's all this stuff in it. And I smelled it. And like when I saw it, I was just like, oh, and I mean, to react that way to vegetables is new for me. I didn't know I could feel that way about vegetables. And every time I really bombard myself with vegetables and fruits and seeds and whole grains. I realize the power that it has. And the more you start to feel that, the easier it's going to be to make those choices. And then additionally, you can set yourself up. So obviously, not buying things that you don't need to have in your house that are going to tempt you. I find that ordering groceries to be delivered, I buy less of those extraneous things that maybe you don't need to buy. Like I focus more on just the essentials. But if I'm in the grocery store, I'm like, oh, maybe that and then maybe that. And then I end up with things in the house that tempt me. Also, you can set yourself up for success. For example, I love this ancient grain porridge, and you have to soak it's millet, amaranth, and quinoa, and you boil the water, and then you soak the herbs in the hot water overnight, the grains overnight. And in the morning, I have this huge pot of all of these pre-cooked grains, and I put them in a container in the fridge, and it gets me through like 5 days of breakfast. So I just scoop out a portion in the morning, and I simmer it with just some like oat milk or soy milk or almond milk with a little bit of vanilla, maybe a tiny bit of maple syrup, if not a bunch of blueberries, and they burst in it, and it's so sweet and it turns purple and it's beautiful. You can put a lot of things in it and it's so fast. So knowing I have this quick breakfast option where I normally might just run out of the house and then stop and get something to go, which is not going to serve my health. Now I'm like, well, I have no excuse because I have that porridge ready and it only takes 10 minutes. You can even make overnight oats or grains. So in a jar, you just put some oats and like almond milk. And if you do eat dairy, you could put a little yogurt. You could put even non-dairy yogurts. They taste much better these days.
Trevor is cracking me up. I'm sorry.
Who's Trevor? It's 30 to 40 trillion bacteria. Oh, Olivia said she had sauteed red cabbage, kale, and tomatoes. That's what I was jonesing on when I saw it. Yeah. And then like I just have like 4 jars of overnight oats sitting in my fridge. So when I get a craving or something, I just go for that. And sometimes I make these things that taste so good that I almost feel like I'm overeating and this can't be good for me. And then I still lose weight because my body's like, thank you for all of this real food. So you can set yourself up so that you don't depend on willpower. There's a lot of strategies, and you could find a ton of that online if you're just searching for those kinds of things.
Eating well is habit. It's habit that you should, I suggest, I shouldn't say you should, you don't have to do anything. But eating well is a habit that you have to build and take it one step at a time, like a baby learning to walk. You have to take it one step at a time. You're going to fall back or you're going to fall down and you say, oh, well, I'm going to, pick up yourself and keep going. And that's true for everything in life. I think taking baby steps is part of all of life and all of God's existence, all of what God has made. Everything take baby steps. So if you find that you keep falling back on bad habits, just keep practicing little by little to eat better, add in vegetables, add in fruits. Just try from time to time and believe it. That's what I did, and I am at the point now where I do eat oatmeal cookies sometimes, not as much as I used to. I used to eat a whole pack in one day, and pack could that be six or 10 or 12. But where I am now with my oatmeal cookies, which is probably one of the only bad habits I have when it comes to processed foods, if I eat two oatmeal cookies in one day, my stomach goes crazy.
Mm.
I get bloated. It hurts. I feel uncomfortable. I lose energy. And I just look back and laugh and say, okay, I'm not going to do that tomorrow. I'm not going to do that for a few weeks.
Mhm.
And I just go back to my fruits and vegetables and let it pass through.
Mhm.
I don't crucify myself the way I used to.
Yeah.
So it's just taking baby steps, and you'll get there one day.
Right. And I'll say, Charisse, like that's a great point that Aston's making, which is that when you feel like you have not been disciplined and you did something you felt like wasn't good for your health, it's like Aston said, it's best not to get mad at yourself or put yourself down about it, but learn a lesson. So really observe, how do I feel right now? Okay, that tasted great on my taste buds, but how is it feeling? Even hours after, maybe sometimes days. I didn't notice, but if I ate too many refined grains or bread or sugar, that I'll get headaches sometimes for 2 days afterward. So I wasn't connecting those to that, but when I stopped getting mad at myself, and punishing myself for a bad choice that I made, I started observing and I learned things about how those foods affected me that made it easier to say no to them or no to eating too much of them in the future. So use it as an opportunity to learn and don't punish yourself that it's a failure.
Mhm.
All right. That brings us to the end of the show. Wow. Thank you so much, everybody. Wonderful topics today. You can always submit your questions in advance. So if you download NuSpecies app, you'll see there's a form in there that you just fill out. And that way, if you think of a question or a topic you'd like us to discuss, just randomly when you're driving or right before you fall asleep, you can just go to our app and submit your question there. We get it in our email and then we prep it for the show. So if you don't think of your questions during the show, it's totally fine. Just submit them in advance. Otherwise, we are. Do we have any announcements? There's no store closures coming up, but if you are on our app, you will always know about them. If you're on our email list, you will know about them. So please join our email list. And before you leave today, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do that. Make us look as awesome as we are in real life. We need to replicate that on the internet. So if you could follow and hit that notification bell, you'll always know when we're live. Great. Yes, Cherie says, I'm really pushing. I am. Excellent. We're here for you, and we'll keep coming up with strategies to help you get to that endpoint no matter what. That's what we're here for. And we learn from your experiences too, because what you're going through is likely thousands of other people are going through it as well. So when we learn from what works for you, we can pass it on to others. So keep giving us all of your feedback, everyone. We really appreciate it. And it's what makes us more successful and helps us make you more successful.
And I have a new video out there. Got to plug it. It's called "Divine Origin of Sacred and Divine Spirituality." I'd like you all to watch it.
Where
And
is that?
it's on YouTube.
Is it on the NuSpecies YouTube channel?
It's on the NuSpecies YouTube channel.
Let me share my screen and just show folks a couple of things, because we also didn't show where to go for the labs.
Oh, great.
Mary, how can I, what are the links for the labs? Because I don't want to end without showing people that. Let's see. I'm going to copy and paste the link, and then, so if you got our email this morning, the links are in there. And it goes to my personal email. It doesn't go to my work email. Let me grab it. I have to read my own emails, you know. If I don't read them, who else will? Let's see. So the links are in there. I want to click on them just so you can see what it looks like. And Mary's putting them in the chat as well. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Donna. You're welcome, Cherise. All right, we're just showing the labs. If you don't need the link to the labs, you don't need to see that, you're welcome to drop off. But for those of you who are hoping I'm going to show you, then you can stick with me. And then Aston, I want to show, so I'll go to our YouTube channel.
Oh, you show the labs already?
No, not yet, but I'm waiting for the links. So let me show folks where they can find your video. So share screen, NuSpecies YouTube. Okay. So divine origin of sacred divine spirituality.
Yep.
Creation. Yep. So it's actually, I mean, this is the For You section. So it's showing it to me. I don't know if y'all will see it there, but let's see if we go to videos. And you click on latest. It's just gonna, that's one of the most recent things that we've posted. So you can see Aston's newest video there. It already has 5,000 views, Aston. Look at you.
And this has to do with health. It's, it says spirituality, but it also do with health, because our spiritual health is even more important than our mental and physical health. Believe it or not, it's even more important. It's part of our health. Spiritual health is integrated, superior to even our mental and physical health. So even when you do watch this video, think of, keep that in mind, that this applies to our mental health as much as our physical and spiritual health. They say spirituality, but it's everything. It applies to all of life. Okay. All right.
If you're on Instagram, it's gonna cut off soon. So if you want to see the lab's websites, then please switch over to YouTube. All right. So I'm not able to copy and paste the links that you post, Mary. So I'm just gonna try to grab it from my own email. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Okay. All right, folks. So this is what it looks like. All right. So I'm going to say reject all non-essential cookies. Okay. So the links that we provide to you go directly to shopping the tests of LabCorp and Quest. It's not that we're saying these are the best labs. They are just some of the most common ones to access, at least here in New York. But you can go to the website of any lab and see if they have this option. But if you want to shop all tests, it will show you. It's putting men's health, comprehensive testosterone, women's health up top. But let's see. Standard thyroid test. Let's go to search. Let's do the common ones that what am I searching, Mary? Like a CBC? Can I type CBC? So the common ones we're going to ask you for are CBC. Here's like a complete blood count test, $29. That's probably less than your copay to see a doctor. What would be the next one, most common one?
Hormones.
Some of those, the hormones are probably going to, because there could be, they have like women's health test, men's health test, but you may have to put something more specific. There's what about CMP? Do we? Yeah. That's your comprehensive metabolic panel. Mm-hmm. That's $49.
Put in prostate. Mary, you take charge.
Mary's talking to us in the back.
Yeah.
So PSA test is common. We want to get that one often is $69.
Okay.
At least through LabCorp.
Not bad.
Urinalysis.
Yeah. So a lot of you, as you're watching, when I ask you to do a lab for whether it's a prostate or estrogen or testosterone or kidneys, it's very specific. And yes, it will be CBC, since we, if we're going to check your hemoglobin, may as well, or your WBC, may as well we just check the whole CBCs. So, so you don't have to do a comprehensive labs when we ask you. Your doctors can do that for you. We just want to look at the problem you have, whether it's the prostate or some other areas of the body, in the diabetes, which is the pancreas. We only want to target that specific issue that's bothering you. So we're not ever saying to you, go to any of these places and do a full labs. No, it's just to do, maybe to do 1 or 2 or 3 at most panels. So I hope this was very helpful for you. I see that the one for the prostate is $69. So I'm going to assume that those are related to hormones, could be in that region as well for you ladies. For men, it's primarily the prostate we're looking at. For you ladies, it is hormones in general, and then you may have to do something else down the road. It could be an ultrasound if it's fibroids or something else, which is you would need special script from a doctor or medical practitioner to get the lab to do that for you. But at the blood test levels, you can see the prices are not so bad.
Mhm. Yeah, right. And to get those every 2 months or just because what'll happen is if you are getting better, Aston's going to lower the package you're taking from New Species,
Right,
which is likely gonna save you way more than the cost of that test, and that's
right,
a monthly savings. So
right.
the goal is to find out, "Hey, is this working?" So we can move things along for you.
Yes. So I'm never going to change your package unless I see substantial movement for the better in your lab reports. So once you see that, that great movement in your lab reports, whether it's hormones or PSA, whatever the case is, yes, we're always going to lower the package you're paying for, and you save a lot of money in the end. So yes, you do 2 or 3 of these tests for your prostate guys, and it's going to cost you maybe $200 or 200, maybe $200 going to cost you. But in the end, when you buy a package and we cut it back, you're going to save a lot of money for that month or months. Just a lot of money you're going to save.
Mhm.
So that's why we also want you to do the labs. Really good point, Joe.
Mhm. All right. And then it's great because some people just come to us because their actual goal is for our consulting because they want to get their labs to look better. So they're not trying to cure anything. They're
Right,
not expecting us to be their medicine or their treatment, but they
right,
want their body to tolerate better what's happening to them. They want to
right.
see their numbers getting better.
Mhm.
And that is a very common way that we support you. And obviously, if we don't have your labs to verify it's working, then we can't. So it's so definitely a worthwhile expense, and it makes it so much easier because the time you're going to spend making an appointment with your doctor, going to your doctor, paying the copay, getting the script, then going to the lab, it's a lot. Whereas you can just book it there, pay for it online, and we can help you too. If you go to our stores, Ashley or Shania can help you if you don't know how to do it yourself.
Okay, so they got training in that. That's good. That's great.
Well, it's just shopping online.
Okay.
We could easily guide anyone to do it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. So there you have it. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
And I hope you all utilize it. And yes, the insurance company and the doctors, they put up a resistance, and now you have a way to overcome that resistance.
Mhm.
And it's going to cost you a couple pennies, but guess what? Your life is the greatest value you have. Our lives are the greatest value we have on this earth.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We will be back next Saturday at 10 a.m. as always. So please subscribe to our channel before you leave, and also subscribe. If you go to the homepage of New Species website, you can not only join our email list, but you can also join our rewards program, which gets you 1 point for every dollar you spend, so that when we don't have a discount for everyone, you can redeem the discounts that you have earned and pretty much never pay full price. So go ahead and sign up for all those things, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
You have a great weekend, and I hope you learn 1 or 2 things today. Hopefully, you learn something today.
All right. Bye bye.